Are you in love with football? And what about sports betting? Do you want to earn really big money from it? Experts of BetFact prepare dozens of solid and safe predictions with high odds every day, so you can win a lot and stably. Just sign up through the link in the description and punish your bookie.
Portugal take on Spain, who won the World Cup just 8 years ago. It promises to be a cracker. Well, it's going to be great, isn't it? We're used to managers not being around for too long these days, but not many expected Spain to actually sack their coach, Julen Lopetegui, earlier this week, 2 days before their first game. Well, today, this was a packed press conference in Sochi. Everybody wanted to hear from the new man in charge. On the left there, Fernando Hierro, and Sergio Ramos was also in town.
Well,
we needed to move forward as quickly as possible. These were not pleasant times because Julen Lopetegui was part of this effort. He helped us qualify. I think that the Spanish squad is more important than anything personal, so I think that the sooner that we focus on the World Cup, the better for all. And there are few people more qualified than Fernando Hierro to cover Lopetegui's departure. We need to respect the work that's been carried out over the last 2 weeks. In the run-up to the World Cup, we respect the European champions. We know they have one of the best players in the world. They have a coach with a great deal of experience, players with a lot of experience. But we trust fully in our boys. We're fully fit. We are well prepared. These last 2 weeks of hard work have been quite intense.
Well, Steve Wilson is already in Sochi. He'll commentate on tomorrow's game for the BBC, and we grabbed a word with him after training. Well, Steve, the Spaniards are clearly trying to move on, but it doesn't detract from the fact, does it, that just 2 days before they started their World Cup, one of the favourites got rid of the boss?
Absolutely no chance of this story moving on. In fact, if you look over my left shoulder, the gentleman in the white T-shirt there, the bald chap, is Luis Rubiales, who sacked Lopetegui. He is the president of the Spanish FA. I'm slightly surprised he's still out here when all the media are here. It doesn't look like he doesn't want to be the focus of attention. He knows we here, and we know that he's there. Lopetegui, by the way, unveiled by Real Madrid this evening as their new manager. Yes, of course, Hierro and Sergio Ramos, his captain, were trying to move it on in what was a bun fight of a press conference earlier. No chance that was going to happen. At one point, that press conference was going to be ticketed, which is extremely unusual at a World Cup, but in the end it wasn't. It was absolutely rammed, and it finished with Sergio Ramos saying, "I'm going out. This press conference feels like a funeral. We have a World Cup to play, which should be a wonderful event." And this story is not going to go away. It's equally as big, if not bigger, as Roy Keane walking out in the Island Camp 2002. This World Cup certainly will have a chapter when the book is written on it about the sacking of Lopetegui. And Rubiales there is the man who did the deed. Did you know, Dan, he used to play for Hamilton Academicals?
I checked, actually. 4 games for Hamilton Academicals at centre-half, and he lost every single one of them. It's an amazing story, isn't it? It's a bold decision by the Spanish Federation. Do you think they made the right one? Because they felt betrayed, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they made the right one. I think when something like that happens, when half the squad know what's going on and actually the Spanish president doesn't and the Spanish Federation doesn't, you've got to act on it. But I actually think it's the only team in the competition that can actually handle this, because I think these players actually probably don't need coaching. They're that good, they've got that much experience, and they'll just go out there and get on with it. And Hierro, he's been in and around that squad for a long time. He's got great experience, even though not managerial. He'll be fine.
Do you think it will affect them? I mean, Phil doesn't seem to think that it will because they're such a well-oiled machine. They've not lost since the last Euros.
Smile, because it feels like we're at a funeral and tomorrow the World Cup starts. Ramos saying all the right things.
Well, as a player, you just want to get on with it. I mean, of course, it's the talk of the town. It will be the talk of the squad, the Spanish squad. Of course, it is. But just get the damn tournament started.
Yep.
Start talking about the football. And if they do beat Portugal, and they are the favourites, it'll be tight. But if they do beat them, then maybe they can put it behind them for a little bit anyway.
So much drama.
Yeah.
How much does it affect you in the locker room?
I think he's taking the right approach in taking that leadership role and saying, you know what? There is a World Cup to play. So regardless of what else is going on, whether Lopetegui is here, Fernando Hierro's coming, he's going, and Rubiales, Florentino Perez, all the storylines that are going around, we are the ones that step on the field. We are the ones that impact the play, and we are the ones that can impact the result of the game. And in taking that responsibility, I think it's something that he can take also to the locker room and say, look, man, we're talented, we're experienced, we've gone through a lot of things in our careers, we're more than prepared, and let's take this challenge on of winning this thing for ourselves, for the people that are here in this locker room. Not the ones that have left, not the ones that have come in, not the ones that have an opinion, but us. We can do this ourselves. I think that unites the locker room, and it'd be important that they get a good result and a good performance against Portugal. If they do that, then nothing to see here, we roll on.
It's a good theory. I mean, in fact, it could galvanise them.
And Ali's absolutely right. If they play well against Portugal, if they play well in the next game, they won't have any problems in the dressing room. It's if they start to play badly, if they put in a poor performance and still win, then they'll start blaming each other. Maybe you should have been doing this, you should have been doing that. They'll be looking at Hierro on the side. Is he making the right decision? Is he picking the right team? Maybe Lopetegui would have done this. That's when you have a problem. When they're winning, no problem whatsoever. When they start to lose or start to play poorly, that's when they might have a problem.
You've got Spain to win it all.
I do have Spain.
You don't have a problem with what's happened? You don't
I definitely have a problem with what's happened.
But you don't think it will affect them to the extent that they...
I'm hoping it doesn't affect them.
Right.
And I think we're still going to have to wait and find out. I think the one thing that it's easier for the players because the drama is not coming from the players.
Right.
It's not as if there's issue going on.
Yeah.
And
it's not like a Mexico situation. They got caught in that party. Obviously, all going.
This is a situation that's with the coaching staff, and yes, it has an effect on the players, but not as much as if it's problems player related.
If Spain capitulate, it's only because the players have capitulated.
Right.
You know, look at the names: De Gea, Ramos, Piqué, Carvajal, Alba, Busquets, Iniesta, down the spine, David Silva, great season at Man City again. Then you've got the youngsters like Asensio, you've got Isco, Costa up front. I mean...
There's a lot of experience in that squad.
And that's not even before we get to the bench. There's a lot that could go right for this squad, even without Lopetegui. A lot that could go right. It might go wrong if Ramos has one of those moments that we know he has and he loses his head if it's not going right.
Yep.
And Portugal are winding him up and he gets a red card and all of a sudden the leadership's gone. That's the adversity we have to wait and see if Hierro and this team can handle.
It's an interesting point because obviously the first World Cup with VAR, the first time Sergio Ramos is going to be exposed to VAR. And we've talked about his antics a lot, especially after the Champions League final. He's aware of it, surely.
Yeah. And so is everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And because of the Champions League fallout, I think there's going to be a lot of attention on Sergio Ramos. And there's going to be a lot of cameras watching Sergio Ramos simply because of all the storylines that came out from the Champions League. And so now he's to the point to where he cannot get away with it, right? And whatever is it that he does is going to be scrutinized. But more importantly, it can be reviewed. And if it is reviewed and deemed upon that is a red card offense, then see you later. Yeah. I don't know that he takes this into consideration. I think
he's got to, sure.
Well, no, because I think he plays his game, and if he's going to do something dumb, if you have that within you, if you had that gene within you, VAR is not going to take it.
There's somebody else that's got even more worry, and that's Diego Costa.
Oh.
Diego Costa does a lot of things off the ball. He reacts badly. And that's when you haven't got a manager, I know Hierro's taken over, who's going to take control of that? Who's going to make sure he doesn't do those sort of things? Because that's what Diego Costa has done time and time again. He plays right to the limits.
Because this game could go on and 5 minutes later or whatever it is, they could go back and they've seen something. It could be any time frame between the incident and the referee going back and sending a player off. It's going to be quite weird if it happens for the crowd. I don't know if they'll understand or be told how it's happened, but I think we are going to see it happen unless everything is clocked as it occurs.
Let's talk about the game. No layup, no Saudi Arabia. Of course, they are the European champions.
It's a tough one for them.
Yeah, exactly. Will they win it though?
I think they'll win it narrowly, but they're just a tough team to play against. They're an experienced team, Portugal. They've got some issues at the back, particularly with Pepe and Alves, if Alves plays, because Mane's old and he can't run. They're very slow, but they're pragmatic, and also they've got the Ronaldo factor, but they've got Bernardo Silva, who finished the season great at Man City. On the counter-attack, they could be a big problem. But they're going to just try and stifle. They're not interested in making it an open, attractive game. They don't care about that, and that's how they won the Euros.
Quickly,
Spain will win, I think. Still think they've got enough quality in their team to beat them.
Yeah, I think they'll get the focus together to beat them.